Hey, what's up, guys? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. We have some pretty big news coming from the U.S. Mint. That was originally reported by Coin World magazine, so we're going to talk about that here in a moment. But in other U.S. Mint news, some of you probably were aware that a pretty nice release did come out earlier this month, actually on February 8th. The Liberty and Britannia gold and silver medals. Actually, the gold is a coin with an actual face value. The metal does not have a face value, and that's why they call it a medal. But these two particular coins ended up releasing with a lot of buzz, but at the end of the day, it was kind of like not the amount of fanfare that I think it probably deserves. And the big reason why that this is a relevant program through the U.S. Mint and kind of like a last minute add to their lineup. Surprisingly, I heard about this right after the new year, and I had to have at least one. All right, and this is the collaborative efforts with the Royal Mint in putting together a coin or medal that features both Lady Liberty and Britannia, kind of Great Britain's version of Lady Liberty. All right, all on the same coin, and they are very pretty. At the same token, the Royal Mint did release their types as well, which kind of shows a very similar reverse pattern on there. Like if I clicked into the silver medal that we see here, it's got kind of like a playing card style obverse to it, where you have Lady Liberty that's upright with the torch. That's actually the torch is coming out of Britannia's hair. And then you have Britannia that's upside down with a trident. And then you can flip the coin over so that way Britannia is sitting right side up and Lady Liberty is upside down. Similar to any sort of playing card out there, you know. And I think it's an incredibly beautiful design. They had a mintage of 75,000 pieces, which I thought was, it's low enough to be generous, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know if it does, but 75,000 I think was kind of the sweet spot number here because as you could see on the Mint website, it is still available for purchase at $89. And we're going to talk a little bit about a few of the reasons why that this has not sold out yet, and it may not, which is quite unfortunate. But these are all crafted in 999 fine silver. They're minted at the Philadelphia Mint. They are going to include a certificate of authenticity. I have yet to receive my one loan medal. Apparently, these are being shipped out right here at the end of February. So I look forward to seeing this. A lot of people on eBay are beginning to do pre-sales for, I suppose, like Proof 70 graded coins. So those are out there as well. And, they're falling right around $140 to $170, depending on the type that you get, because they're going to have the first day of issue, first strike, and a few different other variants. There's probably going to be one with a very specific design label for both Lady Liberty and Britannia, to kind of like show that relationship of this particular project between both mints. It could be, I don't know. I think I've seen maybe one or two different variants of such on there. But $89, let's talk a little bit about the price tag on these two. They're both very attractive. I mean, you saw what the front of the coin looks like. Here's what the back of this one looks like, where you have obviously these two trees, which represent the United States, and then the other side is Great Britain, and then all of the other, other parts of England, including Scotland, Ireland, and Wales and things like that. So right in the middle, you have the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, and then you have a sun in the middle, and it's like bringing peace and harmony. It's a very beautiful, beautiful look to it. You can even see the little Philadelphia mint mark in one of what I think is one of the waves there, or perhaps it might be a root from one of the trees. Kind of hard to tell. That's kind of where the design kind of like I'm lost there on that. And they also have the mint engraver's initials on there as well. So the price, $89. As we all know, U.S. Mint product has been going up in price pretty consistently every year. And it seems like every time they move the needle with the price, it's not something that they could just squeak by anymore. You know, a $5 adjustment on a mint product each and every single year is going to take its toll. You know, for example, I know that the American women, what, 5 coin sets or 4 or 5 coin sets that are in silver and are 999 fine silver, you know, they're selling on the Mint website for like $85. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if we're talking about the amount of silver that's in these sets, realistically, you're right around $25, $26. So, yeah, that's kind of an issue. The pricing is there's me personally, there's no justification for these crazy price hikes. And because of that, it kind of diminishes some of the more attractive type of offerings that the Mint has out there, like this Liberty and Britannia silver medal. $89? No, you know, $69 is probably a lot more palatable price for a lot of people. And even still, that's still quite expensive. So let's go ahead and take a look at the gold. The gold is actually very attractive, but you're going to see the inflation at work here, guys. Only 10,000 made of the gold version. Again, these are 999 fine silver. Last time I checked, gold was ringing in right, or 999 fine gold. Sorry. Last time I checked, gold was ringing at about $2,032 an ounce. So $1,000 premium to own one of these is quite stiff. Stiff in a sense that you can't really enjoy the coin for your collection because you paid a 50% boost in price in comparison to the melt value. Now, I'm not saying to sell these things in melt, but there needs to be a reasonable and prudent kind of pricing structure to where it's going to make sense for collectors to get into this. And the mere fact that this thing's still showing available and add to bag, that kind of tells us everything that we need to know about this release. You know, and the Royal Mint, you know, they had their issues too, albeit the silver coins with King Charles on the other side of the coin, which is what those have. Those were available for like $90 as well. But the difference is they only made 12,500 of those particular coins compared to the US Mint that produced 75,000. So there's the justification and the higher price tag has everything to do with the quantity made. Because, you know, if it's more scarce, then it's going to be worth more in the future. But, you know, I even heard that that's still available on the Royal Mint website. You know, if you wanted to get one of the Royal Mint versions of the Liberty and Britannia with King Charles on the other side of the coin, you know, then you could possibly get one for yourself as they are still available. So that's the Liberty and Britannia coin series. I thought I'd just, you know, kind of kick off the show and just kind of talk briefly about this series. Again, very attractive. Not for everyone. The price is sky high. All right. And that's going to keep a lot of people from selling this thing out unless the Mint decide to do some sort of price hack on here. You know, to really make it a little bit more, more approachable of a collectible. All right, so the article by Coin World magazine, okay, which came out just a few short days ago. Actually, was a Saturday, February 24th. So the Commission of Fine Arts, that's the CFA, considers design tweaks for the 2026 cent and 5-cent coins. Okay. Pretty notable year. Okay, I want you guys to make sure that you got this this particular year in your calendars because it's going to be one for the ages. So if you guys thought that the 1976 bicentennial coin series was hot at its time, the 2026 what they call Semiquincentennial or or simply 250th anniversary of our country, this is going to be equally as good, because there's going to be a fair amount of us that's only going to be able to make it to the 250th anniversary, or another 50 years out from the 300th anniversary, which is going to be pretty huge in its own right. But the CFA had released its conceptualized drawings showing the dual date on the nickel. The Lincoln cent will have a similar one as well. And just to let you guys know that this thing has been in the works since about 2019. And it wasn't until September 22nd of 2020 that the House of Representatives actually did something about it. They passed a bill, I think it's called HF 1923. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But it pretty much kind of gives permission to the Mint to produce not only the American Women Quarter Series, but the 2026 Semiquincentennial series as well, but also some of the subsequent series after and beyond 2026. Like there's going to be I believe a 4 or 5 year quarter series that's going to be dedicated wholly to youth sports, which should be pretty cool. It seems like a very kind of like, yeah, it's a good series. It's not one that's gonna particularly blow you away, like I gotta have them all, type of deal. It's almost like the innovation dollars and its similarities. It's like they just exist, and it's a good kind of ode to youth sports. So that's what they got. So getting back to what the dual design date looks like on these, you have 1776. You have this little squiggly thing in between that and 2026. They call it a tilde, which is just like a hyphen, but only squiggly hyphen. So that's how they're gonna have it. They're gonna have the P mint mark right underneath Liberty. So they kind of have to jockey around a few of the design elements on the coin. Especially the Lincoln cent, which you can see in the background right there, and on the nickel as well. All right, so here's a little bit of a thing that's been talked about. I know Paula Bloom had some things to say, because there was some talks that went back a couple years, that the U.S. Mint was going to do a special different design on the Lincoln cent in 2026 Jefferson nickel. It seems that is not the case anymore. They've decided to, I guess, quietly scrap the plans to do anything else extraordinary for either reverse of the Lincoln cent and the Jefferson nickel to commemorate the 250th anniversary of our country. So if we scroll down a little bit here in the Coin World article, and you guys can check this out yourself, all of the credits of this particular press release comes from Coin World via the U.S. Mint. Design proposals for the obverses of the 2026 Lincoln cent and Jefferson 5-cent coin to celebrate the nation's semi-quincentennial were recommended on February 15th by the Commission of Fine Arts. So this is merely a recommendation. It's not the finalized pattern that they're going to use. It is still just a pattern at work. They may do some other tweaks to it. Kind of, it's going to be a wait and see type thing. But also right here, the third line, the design modification for the minor coins, which I think they include the Lincoln cent, Jefferson nickel, and Roosevelt dime, will not include any design revisions to the reverses. So that leaves the quarter, which I fully expect them to do some kind of like lights out type of presentation, the half dollar, and one of the dollar designs. Or they might just do one dedicated particular gold dollar type of deal that's more of a standalone, rather than having, like the Native American obverse, that's Sacagawea, and then, something specific for the 250th anniversary on that one. It wouldn't make any sense anyways. So that's what we have there, coming from the U.S. Mint via the Commission of Fine Arts. who has all of the designers and artists that are working on various designs, especially on anything that's been passed by the House of Rep. It's being worked on by the CFA. So when we kind of like figure out what the hell's going on here, I thought that they were going to do something cool with the reverse, which I kind of think they should have done. It's not going to be that much more work to do kind of like a unique reverse, because the dual date is a dual date, right? It's okay. And seeing the dual date on the Lincoln Cent and the Jefferson Nickel conceptualized drawings, it's not like the bicentennial quarter where you had the dual date under the bust. Okay, that one was a little bit more unique and extraordinary because that's where the date was, and it just kind of fits. The way that they have it set up here, it's like, oh, we got to stack them on top of each other. We have to put the tilde in there to kind of like justify the range of time period. It seems like there wasn't a lot of thought put into this. Like, they could have very well did something, where, they could have put like Liberty here, right here, like from 12 o'clock to about 2 o'clock. And then right next to it, right around the rim, they could have put, similar to the Washington quarter, 1776 to 2026, and keep it like hyphenated, like the same way that they do on the quarter. And then do the motto, "In God We Trust." Maybe they could do something on the edge with something like that. Or right where Liberty is on the nickel, they could put the motto, "In God We Trust," right there. It's only going to take up, 2 lines. And, the mint mark will be somewhere on the coin at that point. It's now that's what I think they should do to kind of clean it up. This all seems a little cluttered and just kind of rushed as far as the design aspect goes. And the Lincoln Cent looks no better either. Again, they could have done something different. It's just kind of like in your face, and it's just it doesn't look quite right to me. So that's what I think. I think more importantly, the fact that they've decided to backtrack away from doing a reverse designs on the 3 minor coins is unfortunate. I think a lot of people were looking forward to that, but very few people are really actually talking about it. I think we're kind of like picking a few of the key phrases in here, like this third one. All right, will not include any design revisions. There are people that took that, Paula included. I saw it eventually after she had pointed it out. I'm like, that kind of stinks. I was actually looking forward, for the first time seeing something different, similar to what they did on the 2009 Lincoln Cents, to what they did on the '04 and '05 nickels. I mean, so obviously they have that capability to do something different on the reverses. What is it exactly? Is it pure laziness? Did they not? I don't know. Is it a time factor? Because I know with the 1976 bicentennial series, that one was actually passed like 5-6 years before the actual event. So there was this big, huge gap of time, and they used every single moment to get the coins prepped and ready. And, I would say the quarter was a knockout. That's probably the best design. And unless the U.S. Mint's going to do something phenomenal with the 2026 design, we're going to look back at the 1976 design and just really kind of consider that to be the king of what the kind of like the commemorating nations coin is going to be. At 200 years. And hopefully the 2026 isn't going to be this constrained, lazy piece of artwork that we could all kind of care less. And especially when we're currently flooded with state quarters, national park quarters, and the American Women quarters out in circulation, it kind of really does need to stand out from the rest. Because at this point, they just kind of all look the same, right? You pull a quarter out of your change jar, and odds are it's going to be one of those 3 designs, and they all look very similar at the end of the day. So I'm really looking forward to it. This right here is slightly concerning because it's showing kind of like that dedication kind of waning a little bit. And we're 2 years out from this program, and it's supposed to be one of the most important programs in the history of coinage. So I don't know. We'll see. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Am I making a lot out of nothing? Are you guys okay with the fact that they're not doing a unique reverse on the Lincoln cent, nickel, and dime? I would love to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and post them down below in the comments, and yeah, I'll be sure to read every single one because yeah, it's an interesting kind of turn of events, and it's a very kind of like minor thing because they're trying to celebrate the design that they've put forth to us and get our take on it. But when they put in something like that, now that's CoinWorld's verbiage, but I'm sure that came from the U.S. Mint's mouth. At the end of the day, that's something that definitely needs a moment to kind of reflect on. Like, okay, well, why are they doing it? What's keeping them from actually doing the extra work and then doing something unique for the reverse of those minor coins? I don't know. Um, you know, could it be a reasonable explanation? It could, but I would love to hear about what kind of conversations transpired to make that something that they had to bring up. I don't know. That's it, guys. That's what I want to talk about. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silver Hound. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Again, if you want to check out the article, go ahead onto CoinWorld's website, one of my favorite websites for up-to-date news. And yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge, and I'm out. You guys take care. Keep on hunting, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.